What's going on, Scream Squad? It is me, your boy Scream Reactions, and I am back with another YouTube video, y'all. Today, we will be watching 3 true alone horror stories. Watch at Night by IMR Scary Tales. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified, and if you haven't checked out my other videos on my channel, y'all, make sure you guys go and do that now. Without further ado, let's hop straight into the video on Gang.
I know I shouldn't have done it, but come on. I was craving some nachos and a Dr. Pepper, and the gas station was barely a mile away. My dad's lecture about not driving alone at night? Yeah. It's dangerous, Kayla. You're 17, not invincible. Blah, blah, blah. I grabbed my keys and snuck out, the thrill of rebellion buzzing through me as I backed out of the driveway. The road was quiet, swallowed in darkness, except for my headlights carving a path through the trees. The gas station was a 5-minute trip, tops. I'd be back before he even rolled over in his bed. Or so I thought. The snack run went fine. No creepy cashier, no weirdos lurking in the aisles. Just me, my junk food, and the hum of fluorescent lights. But the moment I turned onto the road home, something felt off. The night was too still. The kind of silence that wasn't really silence, more like something holding its breath. Then, bang! My car jerked sideways, tires screeching. My hands clawed the wheel as I fought to steady it, heart hammering in my chest. I coasted to the shoulder and threw it in park, panting. A flat tire? Seriously? Now? I grabbed my phone, but, of course, no signal. The woods loomed on either side of the road, thick and endless. I could turn back to the gas station, but that meant walking alone in the dark. Or I could sit here, waiting for some serial killer to knock on my window. Screw that. I pocketed my phone and stepped out, the night air thick against my skin. The crunch of gravel under my sneakers sounded way too loud. I told myself I'd be fine. It was just a mile or so. I'd jog if I had to. The road stretched out before me, swallowed by shadows. Each step felt heavier, like the darkness was pressing down on me. The only sound was my own breathing and the occasional rustle from the trees, possibly just a raccoon or a deer. Then I heard it, footsteps. At first I thought I was imagining it. I stopped, so did they. A chill crawled up my spine. I swallowed hard and picked up my pace. The footsteps matched mine, quicker now, closer. I spun around. Nothing. Just the empty road and the whispering trees. My heart pounded so loud I could feel it in my skull. Nope. I fumbled for my phone, flipping on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, shaking in my trembling hand. And that's when I saw it. Half hidden in the trees, barely visible, sat a rusty old truck. The driver's side door hung open, swaying slightly, like someone had just stepped out. My stomach turned into knots. Then, near my car, I saw them. A pair of boots. Someone was crouching behind my car, just watching me. Every instinct screamed, run. I took off, feet slamming against the pavement, lungs burning. The footsteps behind me exploded into a full sprint. They weren't just following me, they were chasing me. I didn't dare look back. The sound of their steps was getting closer, too close. I could hear heavy, uneven breathing, the unmistakable sound of someone trying to catch up. My heart jackhammered. The gas station flickered into view, neon lights buzzing like a beacon. Almost there. My legs screamed, my breath ragged, but I pushed harder, reaching. Something grazed my jacket, a hand. My scream tore through the night as I wrenched myself forward, adrenaline drowning out the fire in my muscles. I slammed through the door, gasping for air. The cashier, a tired-looking guy in his 40s, glanced up, startled. "You okay?" I spun around, chest heaving. The parking lot was empty. No footsteps, no shadowy figure. Just the quiet hum of the night pressing in against the glass. My hands were shaking so badly, I nearly dropped my phone. I fumbled to call my dad. This time, I had signal. When the police arrived, they didn't find anyone. But when they checked the woods near my car, they found the truck. Inside, a rope, duct tape, and a hunting knife. The police left, and I finally felt safe enough to crawl into bed, my body still trembling from the night's horrors. But just as I was about to drift off, my phone buzzed. I grabbed it, expecting a text from my dad checking in. Instead, my screen lit up with a single message from an unknown number. "You run fast, but next time, I'll be faster."
It's gotta be.
I never drive alone at night again. I should have taken the long way home. I knew that the moment I stepped onto that empty street, my breath fogging in the cold night air. The last bus was long gone, and my shift at the bar had stretched later than usual. It wasn't the first time I walked home alone, but tonight felt off. The air was thick with something I couldn't name, something watching. I shook off the paranoia and tugged my jacket closer. It was just the exhaustion talking. The street was quiet, only the hum of a distant car engine breaking the silence. But then, footsteps. Not mine, someone else's. I stopped, so did they. My stomach clenched. I swallowed hard and picked up the pace. The footsteps matched mine, step for step. I turned my head just slightly, heart hammering. No one was there, but I felt them. I knew I wasn't alone. Fumbling, I yanked out my phone and video called Emma. The ringing stretched unbearably long. Finally, she answered, voice thick with sleep.
"Sophie? It's late. What's wrong? I think someone's following me."
I whispered. Emma was fully awake now.
"Where are you?"
I glanced around, searching for a street sign. My stomach dropped. The sign was gone. Panic slithered up my spine. I'd walked this route 100 times, but suddenly, nothing looked familiar. The houses loomed taller, their windows dark and hollow. The street stretched longer than it should. My chest tightened.
"Sophie?"
Emma's voice wavered. Then, her eyes widened.
"Sophie?"
She whispered, her voice shaking.
"Who's behind you?"
My blood ran ice cold. My breath turned shallow. I turned and saw him. A man stood in the middle of the street, perfectly still, too still. A hood covered his face, but something about the way his head was tilted, just a little too far, made bile rise in my throat. He wasn't just watching, he was studying me. Then he moved. He ran straight at me. I screamed and bolted. My legs burned, but I didn't stop, didn't think, just ran. I cut down an alley, heart hammering so hard it hurt. A dead end. No. I whirled around. Silence. He was gone. Panting, I backed against a house, clutching my phone and shaking hands. No signal, no escape. A sound, a soft rustling, not in front of me. Above. My breath seized. Slowly, I looked up. He was on the roof, staring down at me, motionless, soundless, just standing there. Terror gripped me. Every nerve in my body screamed to move, but I was frozen in place. His hood shifted slightly, as if he were tilting his head further, analyzing my fear. My breath hitched. Then, he lunged. I barely dodged. My feet stumbled over the pavement as I bolted for the main road. My heart pounded so violently I thought it might burst. My vision blurred with panic, but I couldn't stop. I turned a corner. Wrong turn. Another alley. Another dead end. A low, distorted breath like static on a radio drifted behind me. I spun, my back pressed to the brick wall. The man was there, closer. The dim glow of a streetlight cast his silhouette, unnaturally tall, head still angled unnervingly far to the side. My fingers fumbled, dialing 911. No service. Why was there no service? A single step forward from him, then another. I gripped my phone like a lifeline, hand shaking so violently I almost dropped it. My legs were bricks. I couldn't run again. He was too close, a voice, deep, distorted, a whisper that slithered into my ears. "You shouldn't have taken the shortcut." My heart nearly stopped. My stomach twisted violently. He spoke. A car, headlights cut through the darkness. I turned my head, my voice catching in my throat. Without hesitation, I threw myself into the road, waving frantically. Brakes screeched. The car skidded to a halt. The driver's door flung open. "Sophie? What the hell are you doing?" Mr. Dawson, my neighbor. I didn't answer. I yanked open the door and dove inside.
Drive! Just drive!
I screamed. Mr. Dawson hesitated only a second before slamming his foot on the gas. The car lurched forward, tires screeching against the pavement. I curled into the seat, trying to steady my breathing. My skin was cold, clammy. My heartbeat still pounded like a war drum in my ears. Mr. Dawson glanced at me. "What the hell happened?" I couldn't answer. My throat felt raw, my mind still spinning. My fingers gripped the fabric of my jeans like it was the only thing keeping me tethered to reality. But then, as we passed under a street lamp, my stomach dropped. A shadow, standing at the edge of the woods, still watching. And then, he smiled. I squeezed my eyes shut. I never walked alone at night, ever again.
Well, you shouldn't have did it in the first place.
As an entrepreneur, my days were often chaotic and nonstop. By the time I locked up my laptop each evening, my brain felt like it had run a marathon. The one thing I valued more than anything was my quiet nights at home. My place in Phoenix wasn't extravagant, but it was mine. A 2-story house in a suburban neighborhood that felt secure and predictable. Until that October night, I had no reason to question that. It was a Thursday, the kind of evening where you sink into the couch, finally letting the silence wash over you. I'd finished a long day filled with client meetings and emails, and I was looking forward to nothing more than binge watching my favorite show with a glass of wine. The house was quiet, the kind of stillness you only appreciate when you're truly alone.
A big house too.
I didn't realize how fragile that peace was.
No one needs a big house.
At around midnight, just as I was considering heading upstairs to bed, my phone buzzed. It wasn't a call or text, but a notification from my home security app. Backdoor alarm triggered. My first thought was that it had to be a false alarm. These systems were notoriously finicky, and it wasn't the first time it had gone off for no apparent reason. I opened the app, saw the alert, and without much thought, deactivated the alarm. Probably a bird or something, I muttered, convincing myself it was nothing. I climbed into bed, the sound of the air conditioner lulling me into a light doze. But then I heard a muffled thud. My eyes snapped open. At first, I thought it might have been the wind knocking something over outside. Phoenix wasn't known for wild storms, but gusts weren't uncommon this time of year. Holding my breath, I focused hard to listen beyond the sound of the AC.
Just went and checked.
Then came another sound. This one wasn't vague or easy to dismiss. It was like the scrape of something heavy being dragged across the wooden floor downstairs. My chest tightened as a dozen rational explanations ran through my head, each one less convincing than the last. I slid out of bed and quietly locked the door to my bedroom. My mind raced through what to do next. I'd taken precautions. Every door and window had sensors. My phone was connected to the security system. And I even kept a firearm in the bedside drawer.
They got in there.
But none of that felt particularly comforting now. The idea of someone being in the house felt like a violation I wasn't prepared for. Another noise, this time sharper, like a chair being knocked over. I grabbed my phone and dialed 911. I whispered my address to the dispatcher and explained what I'd heard. They assured me officers were on their way. I added, "Please tell them not to use lights or sirens. If someone's inside, they'll hear it." The dispatcher's calm tone was both reassuring and surreal. She stayed on the line as I retrieved the gun from the drawer and positioned myself in the furthest corner of the room, the phone balanced on my knee. Every second felt like an hour. The creaks and groans of the house had taken on a sinister edge, as if the walls themselves were conspiring against me. I heard faint footsteps on the stairs. My grip on the gun tightened as adrenaline surged through my veins. Whoever it was wasn't rushing, they were taking their time. I could barely breathe as I listened, my mind conjuring images of who could be on the other side of the door. Was it one person? More? Suddenly the footsteps stopped. Silence. The kind of silence that's louder than any noise. Then a quiet knock on the bedroom door. Not forceful, just a soft knock. My hand trembled as I aimed the gun at the door, willing myself not to panic. The dispatcher's voice was still in my ear, steady and grounding. "Officers are almost there," she said. A minute later, I heard movement outside. The sound of car doors opening and closing, followed by muffled voices. The police were here. Relief flooded me. There was a commotion downstairs. Shouts, the sound of something heavy hitting the floor, and then silence again. Finally, a voice called out, "Phoenix PD, it's safe to come out." I opened the door cautiously, gun still in hand, and stepped into the hallway. An officer met me at the top of the stairs, his expression serious but calm. "We've got them," he said. "2 men. They were downstairs when we came in." My knees nearly buckled as I followed him to the living room. 2 men sat handcuffed on the floor, their faces grim. One of the officers explained that they'd entered through the back door, which they'd managed to unlock somehow. They said they thought no one was home because there wasn't a car in the driveway, the officer added. Then it hit me. I'd lent my car to my brother earlier that week while his was in the shop. To these men, an empty driveway meant an empty house. The police searched the house and found a crowbar and zip ties in the men's bag. One officer pulled me aside and said, "You did everything right, locking yourself in the room, calling us. That probably saved you tonight."
You should have did that in the first place. Boom. Okay. Man, all 3 of those. Okay, listen. All 3 of those was good. My thing is, why didn't you call the police in the first place? I know some of them didn't have signal. But for the dude that did, like, bro. And then you chose an easy security. Of course someone's going to break in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the first numbers people go for. How do I know? I don't. Okay. How do I know? I don't. But you can't just have it outside your house. Okay? Man, listen, man. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified. And I hope you guys have a blessed day. You know your boy will. And if you have any recommendations, comment those down below. Give me something to react to. Alright? Alright, y'all. Well, that's all we have today. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.